Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, Double Dragon, all that, Beanie Babies, Pogs, Tamagotchis and shit. All things from the 90s. You know, the spirit of the 90s. None of that. I ain't got any of that shit. Well, I'm really glad I was excited for months for this to come out, because look how happy I am now. That 90s show. Alright, first I want to give you like a little history here with like me and that 70s show, because that 70s show was a very important show to me growing up. Like, don't get me wrong, I fucks with some Boy Meets World. That's like my ground zero. I love Boy Meets World. I love sitcoms. I love a good sitcom. But that 70s show, that one was special. Like, that felt like fucking, that was like whenever I watch like any of the other shit, like Boy Meets World and stuff, it always felt like, you know, this is on, and like my older sisters love it. They're cool, so like, I was invited to party, I'm cool too. In fact, I was so engrossed into that 70s show world. It was like one of those things that like for a couple years, I just like every Christmas I could expect a fucking new season of it on DVD kind of shit. Then a friend of mine like he tried to burn all the copies and then he lost it, and then like I got his Wii and then I sold it when I went to California, and like we're not friends anymore. But the point is that 70s show to blame? Probably. I really fucking like that show. So I'm online and I'm looking up the shit, right? I'm like, is that 70s show ever gonna come back and shit? And then lo and behold, one day it fucking does. Netflix is like, you know what? This show did awesome. We are going to fucking put this show on. We're gonna get more of this show. And we're gonna place it in the future, which is killer. I've seen what happens in the 90s. On to the next decade, baby. And then they just beefed it. Now, this isn't like a fucking new phenomenon. This has happened with, I brought up Boy Meets World because the exact same thing that happened with Boy Meets World happened with that 90s show, where we return to the universe and we get just close enough to give you exactly what you want, but then they just don't. They give you something else. Like, who the fuck are these kids? I don't care about these kids. But I still did. I watched every fucking episode of Girl Meets World. I did that. I have that fucking knowledge in my head. Because I wanted to be a fucking completionist. I wanted to know the whole story and shit. And you know what? That's not happening again. Of that 90s show, I will be real with you, I watched exactly 4 episodes. All the way through 4 episodes. I watched the first 2, and then I watched the last 2, and then everywhere in the middle, I just kind of skimmed to see my legacy characters. Which goes against, like, the way that I do shit. I don't watch TV that way. That's asinine. That's a crazy way to fucking watch stuff. But, come on. When something has this little of substance, like, why waste your life? Why waste your time watching something that, like, there's not gonna be some crazy big thing? I knew there wasn't, and then there wasn't. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. Like, I have a lot to say about this, but you know what I'm gonna fucking start with this new batch of kids, since, like, just the OG cast was barely in this thing. Like, they weren't gonna do that. I will start with the good. I'll start with the ones that I liked, that I was like kind of like, oh, okay, this is, I could see where this led to this. Eric and Donna's daughter, Leia. I believe that could be a character set in this world of that 70s show, and it could be the spawn of what would happen if both those two people raised a child. I have no problems with Leia. In fact, of the kids, she is the top tier best one of them. And yo, I'm not like this fucking cuck over here who cut his hair. Like, I know hair. Side parts in the 90s? No, maybe that's like a today thing for sure. You see all the kids like looking fly and shit, but like that wasn't 90s. Middle part all day. I'm talking like fucking JTT and shit and everything. Always down the middle, son. And second place as far as the kids go, it's Nikki. And here's the problem with Nikki being in second place. The character of Nikki doesn't really have a character. So is she really second place, or is she just like, I don't know, like the first of the bad people that are gonna come up on this list? Like, she's not terrible. She's not so ridiculously dumb that like I fucking, you know what I mean? Like, someone has to be in second place, and then from here it's just like, fuck these kids. Like, it's just a straight up, I could make a case for Nikki where it's like, well, at least, you know, she didn't piss me off. There's that. But God, Nate, fuck Nate. Hate him. Hate his character. Just dumb. Just a dumb dude. Like, it's like they wanted two Kelsos, so they split them into two characters, and now we have Nate, and then fucking jackass fucking Jay, who's like a Kelso brother. I did like that. I did like that they are bringing together like the fucking Formans and the Kelsos, because there's a history with the like, I do like that. My problem with Jay is that he's supposed to be like the romantic lead. He's supposed to be like the guy that I'm like stoked on for like Leia to get with. And the truth of the matter is, she's too good for him. Not only is she too good for him, she'll always be too good for him. Like, that guy sucks. I know, like, it's the first season, like, fucking things could happen, things could lead to, like, his growth and then him being awesome and shit, but, like, I don't see it, and also, I don't care. I don't care if that kid is gonna fucking grow up to be dope. I don't care, I don't want it. The last kid we have is Ozzy. My specific issue is with his relationship with Red. Like, I feel like with all of the shit that we saw Red give Fez for being a minority and shit, I feel like the fact that there's this character on the show that, like, I absolutely believe that Red Foreman would zero in on, and the fact that there's zero shit feels like a play it safe move, and that's whack. Who wants that shit? Speaking of Red, I gotta talk about Red and Kitty, right? Like, their fucking comeback. When they are on screen, it is the show that I love. And that's why eventually I just committed to just like scanning that bitch. I was like, I'm just gonna watch the parts that I want to watch. And that is what kept me sitting down and going through this little journey. Like, to see Eric and Donna, especially them parent a child, give them a fucking kid. Give them a kid. I want to see that shit. I've seen every other stage of their life. Yes, let me see their adulthood. I don't need to go back. I don't need to revert. Like, and if that's the case, fucking fine. Let the kids have that 90s show and shit. Cool. But what about me? I felt like the scene between Jackie and Kelso coming back were also really wasted and squandered. Like, it was just a little like, hey, we're here, remember us? We're in the show too. No, you're not. Don't bullshit me. Also, just to chime in here, I know Fez was always a little animated, but he's a little extra animated in this shit, you know what I mean? Like, he's still crushing pussy, so I don't understand why he's so animated. There was that. That was fucking noticeable. For me, the characters that didn't skip a beat: Eric, Donna, Kitty, Red, and surprisingly, fucking Leo. Leo was the exact same kid. He even looks exactly the same. Like, he crushed that role. He knows that character well. But even if I really dug this shit, like how I wanted to, I fucking don't think I did not. It's the 19th. It came out today. I was on it, bitch. Don't think that I didn't want to fucking watch this shit, because I did. I wanted to enjoy it. But the problem was that I also was excited to see this universe in the 90s. And I'm sorry, this shit ain't the fucking 90s. I remember the fucking 90s. Where's TLC? Where are they? I mean, there's this great little scene where they're like, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. And I was like, hey, cool. But I don't feel like all the fashion is par for the course. They did not nail invoking the spirit of the 90s. And it's all the same people that did the shit from the 70s, so what happened? Why were they unable to do that? The 90s was a lot closer than fucking the 70s and shit, so why? No Backstreet Boys. Fucking NSYNC. Not one boy band. They went to a fucking rave and shit. Do they look like rave kids to anyone else? Everything about the show didn't work. I didn't feel like I was put in the 90s. I did not feel like I was peering into the issues and tribulations that a fucking like 90s child was going through. Like fucking mid-90s, that shit fucking crushed it. The Jonah Hill movie with the skateboarders and shit, like that felt like the fucking 90s. I remember watching that movie and being like, wow, I am back in that. That is what it felt like. This was not. It was just bad. It was just a bad show. Like, I don't want to shit on it, but I kind of have to, you know, for me. Even when they're like reusing certain tropes, like fucking like the keg and like trying to get the tap and shit, I don't care. It's just in every way, shape, and form a lesser version of something that is great. And I can't help but wonder, when are they gonna stop doing this? When are they gonna stop fucking grabbing these shows that we loved and they bring it back only to try and serve us something else? Bitch, why do you think I want this shit? I don't want this. Give me those same characters. Way more Eric, way more Donna, way more Kelso, way more Jackie. Fuck, even animated Fez, bring them on. I don't care. I want to follow these same characters, and I know that emotionally we'd be able to get there a lot sooner than with this fucking fresh start with this group of kids that I don't give a fuck about. Like I said, watching Eric and Donna parent Leia while like Kitty and fucking Red are in the background just like, look at that, you see this? We did that. I like that shit. That's the shit I like. Give me that. Give me that. Why? Fucking, there's like a good 10 minutes of enjoyability throughout this entire fucking thing. And it's that's the magic. That's the reason to bring back this show. It's not to fucking give us new characters. Like, it's not about the characters that you can create. It's about the characters that you have created. It's the same shit with fucking Girl Meets World. Like, why give us this new group of kids? Like, why? What is so wrong with just making a show and then bringing it back and continuing like the characters that they could have still been there. There still could have been a gradual fucking thing with these kids. Like, maybe let me fall in love with this world again. Let me fall in love with those characters again. And then over time, we start to follow the kids and then they get to have their own show and shit. Like, fucking why? Overall, that's how I fucking feel about this. I am bummed. I'm not like fucking, like, my day's not ruined and shit. Like, I will be fine. But that 90s show, not it. Not for me. It's not good enough. It's not good enough and I don't accept it. But what did you guys think of that 90s show? Or even if you're gonna check it out, or if you're like, fucking, I've been burned. I already know, so I'm not gonna do that. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments below. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, video creeps.